Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about how to use the MMU2 multi-material printer. I'm going to print, this is Flexi from Thingiverse, and I'm going to do 3 different colors. I'm going to do the black, this brownish copper color, and white. So we're going to get this set up here and I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to make this thing work. Okay, so this isn't a full spool. All we have to do is feed it through this non-tangling deal up to the head. I'm going to use this as, looks like we've got black in 4. I'm going to put this in number 2. So the first tip, and they tell you this in the book, it's a really big deal. Don't have this flat on the end because it'll get jammed up in here. You want to cut that off as much as an angle as you can. See if I can, hopefully I'll get a zoom in on that. To make that a sharp angle, it'll fit through here better. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, 2 would be this one. So I'm going to feed it through here. And this is kind of a pain, this thing, but it's worthwhile so it doesn't get tangled up. Okay, so what I usually do is I feed a bunch of it into here, and then I take it from this end, push it back through over here, catch it on this side. Feed it back. This way. And feed it through here. And kind of just keep pulling it through. Oh wait, that's number 1. Okay, that's going to be 1, I guess. Okay, so what I usually do is, I don't know if you can see this, but it's about to right here. I get it pretty close to the top. Then you go to the front up here and pick load filament. We're going to load filament 1. What that's going to do, this thing needs to reset, is it's going to come over here and it's going to try to start feeding that. Wait till it's done with its calibration here. Okay, hopefully I'm zoomed in on that. So what you want to do is when that starts to roll, just slowly start to feed this in and still until it catches. And you'll feel it catch and start pulling, then just, you're fine from there. This thing will turn green. Okay, you're good to go. Now we'll do the white. Here's another tip. Always keep your filament in a bag with this deconsent stuff, otherwise it'll soak up moisture. You don't want that. Okay, this thing, that end broke off. This is crappy old filament. It's very brittle. Once again, we cut the end off sharp, and this is going to be number 2, which I think, it doesn't matter, let's put it right there. So 2 is going to be this one. Again, feed it through here. This is at the very end of this spool, so it's getting a pain. Oh, you piece of crap. Okay, so, and then run it through this side, grab it here, and 2 is this one. Usually pull a fair amount through, really. The problem I'm having here is it's at the very end of the spool, so it's really light. It doesn't like to stay on there. Normally that's not an issue. And feed it in down here. And with white, it's really difficult to see through the tube here how far you've gotten. Okay, so we're almost there. Back to the front. load filament 2, and start feeding it till it catches. Okay, it caught. And it should turn green. Okay, we got the filament loaded. Now, the next thing you want to do, and you don't have to do this every time, but if you haven't used the printer for a while, clean the print bed. I use isopropyl alcohol, just a little bit. Yeah, it's fine. Get any extra residue off of the print bed. Okay, now we'll jump on the computer and get everything set up there. So the first thing we need to do is load our file. And that's, let me find that really quick here. Files, Flexi. Okay, so that adds the file in here, but this is only set up as being one color. Now, to make that multiple colors, what we want to do is click on it, and we're going to hit, is it split to objects or split to, we do split to objects. Yeah. So each of these is now a separate object. Right? Okay, and then we can assign, go over to here and assign each of these to a different extruder. And I'm going to change a few things here. I'm going to print this quickly. I'm going to go ahead and do it on speed. Okay, I'm not sure quite what it means by that, but oh, this thing positioned. This is the white block. I'll show you that when it starts printing. So what you want to do here, select each one, and then we're going to pick over here what extruder we're going to use. So I'm just going to start with 1 for the head, and then 2, and then 4. 1, 2, and 4 are the ones that I have loaded. So I'm going to go through here and wait a minute. That's this part right here. Okay, so that's 1. This is 2. This is going to be 4. And back to 1 again. And 2. And 4. Back to 1 again. 2, that's fine. 4. 1. 2. And 1. Okay, now we've got each of these different parts assigned to the correct extruder. And that should be all we need to set up here. Hit slice, wait for a minute. And this says that it's going to take 6 hours and 8 minutes. Good grief. Here's why it's going to take so long, because it's got to do 130 tool changes. This is the worst kind of thing you can print in multiple materials, because every layer it's going to have to go through and change the tool 3 times per layer. That's why we've got 130. If you print something like, say, like this chess piece here, this only has a few tool changes because it's like white, red, white, and then there's some black at the bottom. So there's very few tool changes on something like this. But it is what it is. 6 hours, 8 minutes should take to complete this. We'll go ahead and export the G code and take it over to the printer. G code, Flexi cat, yeah, fine. Save, eject. Okay, we're good to eject. Back over to the printer. And once we're on the printer, file should show up. Pick the one we want. Yeah, there's a new firmware. I'll get right on that. Hit that, and it will start heating. So it's going to draw the first filament through here, down to the head, to the extruder, and it starts putting the purge block first. Okay, now it's going to change to the next filament. Going to extract, if you can see that. Starting to turn white. Okay, so here's a problem that you will have. I had this black filament broke in the line here, so I had to pull everything out, and I disconnected this from right here to get it off. Now the thing's all jammed up. You'll get this slow flashing. That means it had a problem loading. So when you get the problem fixed, I've got it fixed, it's fed back almost to here. You push this middle button, and if you can see, that will start feeding. And then, just like normal, get that going until you feel it catch. Come on. Why is it not? What the hell? Push the middle button. Okay. Okay, now when it flashes green and orange like that, it means it's okay. So you push the right button. Oh, push the right button. Okay, now it'll go green, and now it should go back to working. Here you can start to see how the flexible part works. This part is printed, then it loops up through here, and this is printing around that. So that's what's gonna, and you can kind of almost see it there too. You can see it right here on this one. This is gonna print in a loop around that. So this is something that can only be done on a 3D printer. You couldn't like injection mold that or probably make that any other way. But you can see here how it's starting to go through there. And we will resume.